that's pretty damn close to impeccable in terms of his behavior and commitment to excellence. There's a lot of things. When my boy Champ calls up and he's critical of LeBron, the player, where you're on the court and you see certain things that you may not like about his game, there's nothing wrong with that. Even Champ could be a bit excessive, but there's still nothing wrong with it. When there's something wrong is when you ignore the way he takes care of his body, the way he's in peak condition, the way he's always ready to play, the way where he can walk out on the court and put in 35 minutes, 40 minutes without blinking. When you consider the level of physical excellence predicated off of physical commitment, not just to his craft, but to his conditioning, his body, and what have you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is some unparalleled stuff. Tell me somebody in the league who looks in better shape than LeBron James when LeBron James is healthy. We know the groin injury sidelined him Christmas Day and he wasn't the same. But who looks, other than Russell Westbrook maybe, and even that's debatable, the fact of the matter is when you look at LeBron, LeBron shows up every year ready to go. To sit up there and treat him like he doesn't care, see, that's where we crossing the line. We really, really are crossing the line. We're reaching. And we're allowing headlines about him preceding his arrival to manipulate our coverage of him once he arrives. With all due respect to Walt Clyde Frazier, you don't even have a license to criticize the Knicks. You can't criticize your own team, but you can criticize LeBron. Like that? LeBron deserves criticism sometimes, mind you. Wanting to control the narrative and all that other stuff, but he didn't deserve that.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests on the Stephen A. Smith Show appear via the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. And you can always get in touch with the show through the 1-800-Flowers Twitter feed.
Welcome back to Stephen A. Smith Show. ESPN Radio, ESPN News, 32 minutes past hour one, number one. Jeff Passan. Major League Baseball insider for ESPN, formerly of Yahoo. He will be on the show with us to start off hour number two. Thoroughly enjoyed talking to him a couple of weeks ago. Looking forward to talking to him about this mega contract that Mike Trout has agreed to stay with the Los Angeles Angels. 12 years, $430 million. 30% more, $100 million more than Bryce Harper. $130 million more than Manny Machado. $105 million more than Giancarlo Stanton. By the way, the Stephen A. Smith Show is being brought to you by Credit Karma. Get your truly free credit scores and free credit monitoring from Credit Karma today. That's Credit Karma, K-A-R-M-A. Get knowing. There's no debate here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is nearly a $500 million deal. And you can't find a soul that'll tell you that Mike Trout don't deserve this contract. 26 years of age, under contract until he's 38. When you consider his numbers, what he brings to the table, there is simply no denying the greatness. Slice it any way you want to. There's no denying the greatness. It's something special to behold. It really, really is. Wins above replacement. This dude is 10 games above anybody else playing his position. 10 games. For his career at age 26, it's at 64.3. That's better than Ty Cobb and Mickey Mantle. You go to the analytics side, which I rarely do. You look at outfielders. He's obviously rated number one. This is above Mookie Betts, J.D. Martinez, Aaron Judge, Ronald Acuna Jr. from Atlanta. He's a bad boy. Yelich in Milwaukee. We know what kind of year he had last year. Harper, Stanton, Marte with Pittsburgh, Benintendi in Boston. Boston's got three guys in the top 10. Betts, Martinez, and Benintendi. I mean, Trout special, man. Absolutely, positively special. Great in the locker room. Never hear a teammate complain anything about him, which is more than can be said for the rest of us. I mean, that's what you got going on here. Slice it any way you want to. The fact remains that when you look at it, I think the Anaheim Angels, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, keeping him, I think it's good for him. I think it's good for the team. I think it's good for baseball. I think it's good for sports. I think it's good for America. At some point in time, ladies and gentlemen, rather than trying to milk everything out of somebody that you can in an effort to devalue them and their contribution to you, the Anaheim Angels, that's what I like to call them, although they're the Los Angeles Angels. The Angels stepped up and said, we know he's got 2 years left on this deal. 6 years, $144.5 million. He's got 2 years to go. But Bryce Harper evidently got him paid. Because after hearing Bryce Harper speak, openly acknowledging he would recruit him, Angels didn't play around, threw $430 million on the table. We ain't losing this, brother. It's actually special to see. It's well-deserved. Jenny, Forrest Gump. Jenny, you're live with Stephen A, ESPN Radio. How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful.
A?
I'm doing wonderful. Always happy to hear from you. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just calling I'm very excited about this Mike Trout deal. I see a lot of people really talking very negatively about them being, the Angels and signing them, but I'm going to give you a comparison.
Okay.
No one knew 10 years ago who the Golden State Warriors were, let alone where they even played. Mm-hmm. And look at them now.
Yeah, but Jenny, the argument would be as pivotal as Steph Curry is to their success and more importantly, their marketability, because he is the Bay Area. Make no mistake about it. The flip side to it, Jenny, is that Steph Curry didn't do it alone. Klay Thompson making up the greatest shooting backcourt that we've ever seen. Last night, notwithstanding, because neither of them were great last night against San Antonio. But Klay Thompson and Steph Curry making up the greatest shooting backcourt doesn't hurt. Draymond Green being all-purpose utility man for all of these years didn't hurt. Acquiring Kevin Durant ultimately didn't hurt. So when you look at the Golden State Warriors, the people that would make the argument against Mike Trout are looking at not at Mike Trout, but at the rest of the Angels, at the fact that they haven't made the postseason since 2010, and they've had Mike Trout for at least 7 complete years and a piece of the 8th year, but you only made the postseason once. They're like, one player in baseball ain't going to do that for you. What do you say to that?
I understand that. Look, we've got Shohei Ohtani coming to us. He looks like he's going to be quite a little shining star. We've got a great farm system going on. Mm-hmm. I think there's some hope. I mean, Pujols, come on, we know he needs to retire. He was great in his time. But I think we get a good closer, a couple more good starting pitchers.
That's a lot. That's a lot of ifs, Jenny. Jenny, that's a lot of ifs. That's a lot of things. I mean, listen. You know what, Jenny? I'd like to look better. Why don't I go to Hair Club for Men and get an afro? Or better yet, try going bald and see how that works for me. I mean, there's a whole bunch of ifs. Why not get in the gym like my boy Jeff, who's 50 years old, walking around with an 8-pack? You understand what I'm saying? I'm trying to get 8-pack. How about that? I mean, there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things that we can look at, Jenny, and there's a lot of things that we can do. But the more ifs you have, the more questions you have, the more it justifies the argument against it. I'm simply saying, when you have somebody as great as Mike Trout, you don't question it. You roll with it.
Absolutely.
That's my thing.
I'm just giving love up to the Angels. I've been going to their games since the early 80s.
Well, Jenny, I must admit, you give a lot of love. Every time you call up, you're giving love to somebody. That's just in your spirit. That's a part of your spirit. That's a part of your spirit. You know that, Jenny. I appreciate the call, though. Thank you so much. Let's go to Danny. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, Danny?
Stephen A.
How are you?
All right, sir. I want to tell you, you do not a good job, Stephen A. You do a great job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
You
Thank you so
are
much.
a professional. You are a trendsetter. You are a pioneer, and you are a professional, sir, in the sports journalism field that you are called and gifted in, Stephen A.
Thank you, sir. I'm not flawless, but I'll take everything else you said.
You do
Thank
an
you so
A1
much.
job for ESPN, Stephen A.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Go ahead, buddy. What's your point?
Sir, I want to tell you, you are spot on and right on about Mike Trout. When you got a man, a two-time MVP in the American League like Mike Trout is, the Angels would be fools not to pay him what he is deservingly, sir, deserves. Just like in your field, you deserve every nickel, dime, quarter, penny, dollar that you deserve, and then some, and so does Mike Trout.
The man is 26 years old, has been an American League MVP twice, has been a runner-up at least 2 or 3 more times. One of the years he wasn't in the top 3 was because he missed about 50 games. That was the only reason. Steals bases, smacks home runs, RBIs. And now he's playing well in center field with a strong arm.
Exactly
You can't make this up.
That's right. Albert Pujols is in the twilight of his career, a Hall of Famer, no less. And the Angels have to keep him. And what you're saying, sir, is right as rainwater.
And I'll tell you something else, too, I want to add. If I'm looking at other guys, like, for example, Mike Trout is getting $430 million. You can make an argument that's a better deal than the $330 million the Phillies gave Bryce Harper. Than $300 million San Diego gave Manny Machado. You can make an argument about that. The only way you can compete in terms of saying that Bryce Harper may have been a better deal is because I believe that Bryce Harper will have more of a box office impact in Philly than Trout has in Anaheim, because the rabid fan base just appears to be more prevalent, or evident rather, in Philadelphia than it is in a laid-back sunshine of Anaheim, beautiful Anaheim, California. But having said all of that, what I like about this, Danny, is that I like the idea of this applying pressure to guys already getting paid too. Because we know Trout's going to perform. What y'all going to do? What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Stanton? What you gonna do, Stanton? What you gonna do, Bryce? Bryce batted .214 before the All-Star game last year. He was horrid the first half of the season. Came on strong, batted .300 second half of the season. But he was horrid the first half. What y'all gonna do? Jacob deGrom, you with the Mets. You want to get paid. You don't want to negotiate come season time. What you gonna do? He's great. What you gonna do? Clayton Kershaw, postseason. What you gonna do? Greinke, you average about $34 million a year with the contract that Arizona gave you. What you gonna do? Giancarlo Stanton, Aaron Judge, Gary Sanchez, all of these guys looking for their money down the line. What you gonna do? Because we know what Trout's gonna do. And that's what I like about this, Danny. I really
That's
do.
right. And you know the fan base in Philadelphia because you used to work in Philadelphia. You know
17
Philadelphia
years.
like the back of your hand.
17 years. Yes, sir. I do. Danny, I got to go. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for the kind words. They're very, very much appreciated. You take care of yourself. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back to your calls and more before Jeff Passan, MLB Insider Extraordinaire, comes on with us at the top of hour number 2 to talk about this contract and talk about the sports landscape and the money being thrown out there. If anybody would know, he'd know. And we'll talk to him about that right here with Stephen A. ESPN Radio, ESPN News. By the way, college basketball season is winding down, and that means we must turn our attention to the Wendy's Wooden Watch. John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award, presented by Wendy's, is the most prestigious individual honor in college basketball, awarded to the country's most outstanding player who's also making progress towards earning a degree. Go to ESPN.com and search Wooden Watch for the list of players on the Wooden Award 2018-2019 Men's National Ballot. Brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2019 John R. Wooden Player of the Year Award. Max Kellerman, did you know that our show can now be streamed on demand on the ESPN app? Better bring your A game.
I always bring my A game. Download the ESPN app and tap on the Watch tab to watch whenever, wherever you want.
Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com.
your weed and feed